Hello everyone. In this video I will be teaching you some rules to form ray diagrams, and also we will move on to the formation of ray diagrams in case of concave and convex mirrors. So let's start. Here you can see some four diagrams, right? So four diagrams are for concave mirrors here. And how do I know that this is a concave mirror, and how can I identify a concave mirror from a convex mirror? So a concave mirror is a mirror whose reflecting side is the inner side. So as I have already explained, you can take an example of a spoon, and the inner side of the spoon, if the reflection takes place from the inner side, that makes your concave mirror. And if the reflection takes place from the outer side, that makes your convex mirror. So here in all the four cases, you can see that all the four cases indicate that the mirror is the concave mirror. Okay. So in the first case, you see there is a concave mirror, right? This orange lines indicate that this part of the mirror is a non-reflecting part and no light will be reflected from this side. Whatever light will be coming from this side will be reflected from the mirror. So let's mark the points in the mirror. So this is the pole, which is the center of the mirror. We have a center of curvature here, which is the center of the sphere for which the mirror is the part. We have a focus between center of curvature and the pole. So after all this arrangement, when you make a mirror, you make a principal axis. So this is the principal axis here. You mark pole, center of curvature and focus. Then we are ready to form a ray diagram. So let's understand the rule number 1 to form a ray diagram. So rule number 1 is, if the light is coming parallel to the principal axis, what happens to the light after reflection? So let me make the light ray parallel to the principal axis. So that's what I am doing here. So I'm making a light ray which is coming parallel to the principal axis, right? So this is my principal axis, the axis which passes through center of curvature, focus and pole of the mirror. So that is my principal axis. So the ray of light passing parallel to the principal axis, it reflects from this point. After reflection, it passes through focus. So this is rule number 1. A ray of light coming parallel to the principal axis after reflection passes through focus. It can be from the down portion also. If the light ray coming from here parallel to the principal axis, after reflection it will go through the focus. So let me make that also. So if the light ray is coming like this, it reflects from the mirror, it passes through the focus. As you know that you only need at least 2 rays to form an image. So we'll be doing all the ray diagrams for considering only 2 rays of lights. So let's move on. So this is the first rule. The second rule here is that, which is basically the inverse of the first rule, the reverse of the first rule. If the ray of light is passing through the focus, if it is coming and it is passing through the focus, like, so just see the arrow which I am making. The arrow indicates that the light is coming from here and it is going through focus, and then it is reflecting at this point. So after reflection, what will happen? It will go parallel to the principal axis, which is just the reverse case of the first one we did here, right? So the light was coming parallel to the principal axis. After reflection, it goes through the focus. And the reverse is that if the light ray is going through the focus, after reflection, it passes parallel to the principal axis. So this is the rule number 2. Let's move on to rule number 3. What is rule number 3? So rule number 3 is, if the light ray is passing through center of curvature, what happens to the light ray after reflection? Okay, so if the light ray is passing through center of curvature, that's what I am doing here. Make sure that the light ray, when passes through center of curvature, goes till the mirror. Okay, just make the mirror a little big so that the light goes through the center of curvature and it reflects from here. Now the rule is that the light ray passing through the center of curvature after reflection returns back through the same path. So it reflects back and it comes through the same path. And what is the reason for that? You all know that if the light is coming along the normal, the angle of incidence becomes 0, and so does the angle of reflection from the laws of reflection of light, right? So that's what is happening here. So if the light ray is coming from along the center of curvature, and this line acts as a normal to the mirror. Why does it act as a normal to the mirror? Because if you look at the very small portion of the mirror here, it looks almost perpendicular to the surface of the mirror, and that makes the light ray as my normal. So if the light is coming along the normal, the angle I is 0, and after reflection angle R would be 0, so the light reflects back through the same path. So that is rule number 3. So rule number 1, rule number 2 and rule number 3. Moving on to rule number 4. Rule number 4 is if the light is coming obliquely and striking at the pole. So let's say, because you know here that why I am considering only pole, because I am taking pole as a center of the mirror. Okay? So let's say the light is coming like this and it is coming obliquely and striking the pole. So it is making some angle I with this principal axis, and this principal axis is acting my normal. And what happens, you know that if the light comes obliquely, right, to any surface, it reflects back with the same angle of incidence, right? So it will reflect back like this. Just see my arrows here. So the light is coming like this, so I have made an arrow here. It is coming from here and it is reflecting back here. So this is angle R. So this is the rule number 4 for the formation of ray diagrams. So all these are the rules, and now we will move on to the formation of ray diagrams. So the first case is for the concave mirror. So let's do for the concave mirror first, and we'll move on to the convex part. It is a very important part for your NCERT and for your board exams. So here you see a mirror which is a concave type, right? So it is a concave mirror. So I have made a mirror and I have made a non-reflecting side of the mirror. This is the principal axis, pole, focus, center of curvature. So the rule of making ray diagram is that make a mirror, make its non-reflecting side, mark its center and name it as P, which is the pole of the mirror. Draw a principal axis which is passing through the pole, mark the center of curvature, and then mark the focus exactly in middle of C and P. So when you are done with this, you are ready to draw your object and do it further. So let's do it. So case number 1 is when the object is at infinity. What does this statement means? So first of all, before giving you an idea for each and every case, let me tell you that there are 6 cases possible in case of the ray diagrams. And what are those 6 cases and how do we decide that there are 6 cases? So that depends on the position of the object. Where do you place the object? So right here you can see that this is a line segment, and this line segment is divided in some parts, right? So it is divided in 3 parts. One, which is this part, the second part is this, and the third is this, right? So it is divided by these intersection points in 3 parts, right? So it is divided in 3 parts. So you can clearly see that I can place an object here, anywhere here. So this can be my one case. I can place the object at C. I can place the object between C and F. I can place the object at F, and then I can place the object between F and P, anywhere between F and P. So that makes my 5 cases, right? So first case, when the object is beyond C, at any place beyond C. The second case, when the object is at C. And the third case, when the object is between C and F. Case number 4, when the object is at F. And case number 5, when the object is between F and P. But right now I said that there are 6 cases. So basically the first case of the ray diagram is that when the object is at infinity. So the object is at infinity means that the object is very, very far from you, very, very far from the concave mirror, right? So when the object is very, very far, we treat the ray of light coming from the object as parallel to the principal axis. We can consider in that case the light rays coming from the sun can be treated as infinity, because the light rays are coming from very far distance, and the light rays will be treated as if they are parallel to the principal axis. So let's make a ray diagram when the object is at infinity. So I have told you that when an object is at infinity, the light ray coming from the object will be treated as parallel to the principal axis. So there is no need to mark the object on this principal axis, because your object is at infinity. So I just need to mark the light rays coming parallel to the principal axis, and that's what I will do. So I am doing that. I am marking a light ray parallel to the principal axis, right? And I know from rule number 1 that the light ray coming from the principal axis after reflection from the mirror passes through the focus. So that's what will be done here. So it will pass through the focus. So before doing all this, you have to keep in your mind what you are doing actually. You are projecting, you are finding the image of the object. You have an object, you are finding the position of the image, you are finding the size of the image and the nature of the image. So the light ray is coming from infinity. Let me treat this point as infinity, very very far, and the light is coming from infinity. After reflection, passes through focus. So as I have told you that to form an image you need two light rays, at least two light rays. So this is the first ray of light. Let me mark another ray of light. I can do that from here, right? I can do that here. So light is coming like this, just parallel to the principal axis. After reflection, passes through the focus, right? So it's the same thing which I have done. Okay. So now you see that you have two light rays, right? So the intersection point, you need to understand where is the intersection point. So the two light rays after reflection intersect at this point, right? And the intersection point is at focus. You also see that you have a point here. You don't have a certain height of image or something, right? So you have a point. So let's write the characteristics of the image. So for every ray diagram when you make, you have to write 3 points. You have to write the point position of the image, the size of the image, the nature of the image. So let's do that. So what is the position of the image? You can clearly see that image is formed at F. It is exactly formed at F. So this will be at F. F is the focus. And what is the size of the image? The size of the image is highly diminished. So basically for size we talk about two terms, diminish and enlarge. In this case the image is very very point size. So we will write in the place of size is that point size image. Point size image. Why I am saying point size? Because you can see that there is no height associated or there is no size associated with the image here. What is the nature of the image? The nature of the image here is real and inverted. Why I am calling it as real and inverted is that you know what is real image and what is virtual, right? So the real image is when the image is formed on a screen, right? It is formed on a screen, it does not form behind the mirror. So here clearly what you do, if you place a screen at focus, if you place any white screen on a focus, you can see a dot, you can see the image, right? So that's why the image is real, because you can project it on a screen. And why it is inverted? Here you cannot see that the image is inverted. We can see it when we move to other cases, when we have some size of the object. So here you can just you can just write that the nature of the image is real and inverted, because with real the combination always goes like the real and inverted case. Okay, so moving on to the case 2. So case 2 is that when the object is beyond C. So I have told you that there are 6 cases and we're moving from left to right, right? So that is a pattern here. So we are moving from left to right. So one case was when the object is at infinity. Now the second case is that I can place in my object anywhere beyond C. मैं यहाँ पे कहीं भी इसके पीछे कहीं भी रख सकती हूँ object को, वो मेरी मर्जी है. So fine, I can place an object. Let's say I am placing an object here. And how do you mark an object? You mark an object with an arrow. So that is a symbolic gesture. तो आप object को हमेशा एक arrow से denote करते हो with some some head and some size, basically some height of the object. So when you mark the object beyond C, anywhere beyond C, you can mark it here, here, here. As long as it is beyond C, it's fine. So let's do the same thing now. So I need 2 light rays, right? I need 2 light rays to form an image. So let's do that. The first rule says that I can mark a light ray parallel to the principal axis. So let's do that. The light ray parallel to the principal axis from here. So basically the object, my object is a source of light and the light is coming from the object and it is going parallel to the principal axis. I am following rule number 1. After reflection, it passes through focus. Right? So that is fine. Let me mark the object also. There should be a name of the object. So the object is AB. So the rule number 1, the light coming from parallel to the axis passes through the focus after reflection. Right? Okay. Now I need one more light ray to form an image. What do I do? Now from rule number 3, if you remember, I can pass a light ray from center of curvature, right? So easily I can pass a light ray which is coming from my object. You remember my object is a source of light. So one of the light ray can be passed through the center of curvature, and I'll do that. I'm not doing anything intentionally, I'm just following the rules. So the light ray will go like this, right? It will pass through center of curvature, it will go straight to the mirror. Let me make the arrows. Arrows indicate from where the light is coming, so the light is coming from here. And the rule says that after reflection, it will move back along the same path. So the light will go like this. So now I have two light rays, two reflected light rays and their intersection point. So one is this reflected light ray, another is this reflected light ray. So this is my intersection point here. So let me just mark the image here. So the image would be like this. So this is my image. Because the object is taken from the principal axis. So your principal axis is your reference line and your object is taken, from the reference line above the principal axis. And if you have an intersection point below the principal axis, that's where you will form an image also, right? So it will be below the principal axis and that is your image. Now, after doing this, what you need to do, you have to mark the image, right? So let's mark the image. So that would be AB is the object and image is formed, basically image आपकी object की ही है. So let's do that. So I'll make it as A prime and B prime. So the name of the image is A prime, B prime. So after this, let's write the position, size and nature of the image. So you can see that the position of the image clearly is between C and F. The image is formed between C and F. So I'll write here between C and F. What is the size of the image? So you can see that the size of the object is slightly greater than the size of the image. You can see it clearly. If you take a ruler and you start to measure its length, right? So this is somewhat around 1.2 centimeters and this is somewhat 0.6 centimeters, right? So size of the image will be here diminish. Diminish means small size. Not highly diminished, but you will write diminished because you can measure its length and it is less than the length of the object. What is the nature? The nature of the image is real and inverted. Why real? Because the image is formed on the screen. You can place a screen at this point and you can see the image, and also inverted, you can clearly see that it is upside down. The head of the image is down and the foot of the image is here, right? So it is inverted. If the object is like this, your image is like this. So this is known as the inversion, right? So this is case number 2. Moving on to case number 3. Now it's very easy. Case number 3 will be that when the object is at C, we are moving from left to right. We have seen 2 cases. Case number 3 is when the object is at C. So let's understand. I have made the object. I'll name the object as AB. Let's mark the principal axis here. So the ray of light is going parallel to the principal axis. After reflection from the mirror, passes through the focus. That is rule number 1. I need one more ray of light. What should I do? I cannot take the ray of light passing through center of curvature. Why? Because the object is itself at C, right? So what should I do here? So I can do one thing, right? I can take the ray of light passing through the focus, right? You know from rule number 2 that the light ray passing through the focus goes parallel to the principal axis, right? So let's do that. Let's draw the light ray passing through the focus. Mark an arrow and it reflects back parallel to the principal axis. So that's what I am doing. So please, the distances between the pole focus and C are very important. Otherwise, your measurements might the intersection point might vary. So in this case, you clearly see that this is your intersection point, right? And let's mark the image. So the image is here. Oh, so what do I see here? I see that the image is formed exactly below the object, right? So the object is at C and the image is also formed at C. So sometimes when the students make this case, they get a little bit different position of the image because there might be a difference in the distances of pole and focus and C. So you have to be aware and you have to be cautious while making this case, right? So let's mark the image. The image name is A prime and B prime, right? And after this, let's write the position, size and nature. So position of the image. Where is the image formed? The image is formed at C. The image is formed at C, right? What is the size of the image? You can measure it with a ruler also if you have doubt. The size of the image is exactly same as the size of the object. So you will write same size. of the object, exactly same size of the object. What is the nature of the image? The nature is again real and inverted, right? So that is case number 3. Moving on to case number 4. Next case would be when the object is between C and F. So we have taken the case where the object is at C. Now the object is between C and F. So let's make an object. Name the object AB. From rule number 1, the light ray going parallel to the principal axis passes through focus. Right? From rule number 3, if the light ray passes through center of curvature and after reflection it returns back. So let me draw the light ray, and for that I have to make a mirror a little bit bigger. So this is the light ray and this passes through the center of curvature. It is going here and it is returning back. So the arrows are very, very important. Let's see the intersection point. So the intersection point is this point. So let me mark the image. This is my image, which is A prime, B prime. So that is my image. Now let's write the position, size and nature. So the position of the image, you can now easily name that the image is formed beyond C. C के पीछे बन रही है. So that is beyond C. What is the size of the image? You can see that it is bigger than the size of the object. So you will write enlarged. Enlarged means bigger than the size of the object. What is the nature? Again, real and inverted. Right? Okay, true. Let's move on to case number 5. Case number 5 is when the object is at focus. And how do I know that? Because we are moving from left to right. Please remember that. First case was when the object is at infinity. Second, when the object is beyond C. Third, when the object is at C. Next, when the object is at C and F. And now we are when the object is at focus. So let's mark the object. The object is at focus. Name the object AB. Now let's draw the light rays. So the light ray going parallel to the principal axis, arrow, passes through the focus, right? So you can do that. Then let's make the light ray passing through C, right? So let's do that. So the light ray passing through C, I'll see that it goes like here. It goes here and returns back. Now what do I see here? That if the light ray returns back through the mirror, from the mirror, it goes parallel to this light ray, right? What you have to see? You have to see two light rays after reflection and you have to see their intersection point. But in this case, you see that there is no intersection point because the light rays are going parallel, right? Parallel together like this. So where they will meet? You know that in the first case we treated when the object is at infinity and I said that the light rays are coming parallel to the principal axis. So if the light rays are going parallel, so I assume that the light rays will meet at the infinity. They will directly meet at infinity. So the position of the image would be where? Would be at infinity, right? Because the light rays are parallel to each other. What is the size of the image? So you cannot see the size of the image on the table. That means that the size of image is very, very large. So it is highly enlarged, very large. What is the nature of the image? Real and inverted, right? Real and inverted. Okay. So as long as we are to the left of the mirror, same side of the object, we get the real and inverted image. Let's see what is case number 6. Let's move on to case number 6. So the case number 6 is when the object is between F and P. So now we were at focus before. Now we have a place between F and P. So let me mark this here. Let me mark the object as between F and P, somewhere, anywhere between F and P. Let's label the object AB. Now let's draw the light rays. So the light ray goes parallel to the principal axis. After reflection, passes through the focus, right? Okay, that is fine. The next light ray will passes through center of curvature. So let me make that. You just have to follow the rules, that's it. So it's going to the mirror and reflects back. You know rule number 3. Now what happens? You see that the light rays are not meeting here, and even they are not parallel, they are diverging, right? It looks like the distance between two light rays is very less here, and when they move apart, the distance between them is increasing. They are diverging. They are fell real light rays. So what we do here, that in this case we extend the light rays to the right side of the mirror, and what we see that the light rays are appearing to meet at behind the mirror. They are appearing to meet here because I am getting an intersection point here. So let me draw the image. That is a very special case. Case number 6 is a very, very special case. Why it is a special case? Because first of all, your image is not formed in the same side where is your object, and it is formed behind the mirror. Why? Because the image cannot be formed on the same side because the light rays are not meeting here. And what happens if the person is standing here? If a person is standing here, what he will see? He will see that the light is coming from this point, and he will see the object here. यहाँ पे देखेगा वो object को. Basically, in case of your plane mirror, जैसे आपका plane mirror में होता है. So now let's label the image. The image is A prime, B prime, and let's write the position, size, and nature. Where is the position of the image? So it is clearly behind the mirror. Right, behind the concave mirror. The position of the image is behind the concave mirror. What is the size of the image? Enlarged, बड़ी है. You can see that this is the size of the object, this is the size of the image. What is the nature of the image? It is not real inverted this time. Why? First of all, you can see that the image is erect, right? Image बिल्कुल सीधी है. जैसे आपका object है, वैसी आपकी image है. So first of all, it is erect, and why it is virtual? It is virtual because it is not formed on the screen, it is formed behind the mirror, just like in your case of plane mirrors. So the nature of the image is virtual and erect. So that will be all for the ray diagrams for concave mirror for today. And the same goes for the convex mirror, but there are 2 cases for the convex mirror. We will move on to those in the next video or maybe in the class. So you can summarize all these ray diagrams on your own and try to practice them, and then only you will be able to make these ray diagrams. They are simple, they are not difficult. Okay, thank you.